Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Corey Kaufman, coming to you once again, live via Zoom and being socially distant as recommended.
Today, we're going to learn about the March of Dimes, an organization that focuses on ending preventable premature birth and preventable maternal death and morbidity, and increasing health equity for mom and baby.
And we're going to find out more about it from one of their volunteers and a local utility that's a big supporter of the March of Dimes. I'm speaking about PSEG LI. Let's learn more by welcoming to the show Suzanne Brienza, Director of Customer Experience and Utility Marketing for PSEG Long Island. Suzanne, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you for having me.
Suzanne, of course, the first thing today we talk about with everyone is the pandemic. How has the virus affected you personally?
So personally, it has caused, especially at PSEG Long Island, for the majority of our workforce to be working remotely. So working remotely proves a lot of challenges, and a lot of the work we do in the community we had to put on hold because of some of the COVID safety protocols that are in place. So it really caused us to become a lot more creative in how we support our communities during this time.
I would imagine, though, that everything, has a good side, that some new things that have come up as a result of the pandemic probably are techniques that will stick with you and help you in the future and actually be more economic in doing your work.
It's true. And there are some benefits to working remotely and being able to, for safety perspectives, being able to work from home in bad weather. So as long as we can still serve the customer the same way, which is the most important to us, we'll adapt however we need to.
So first of all, tell us about the March of Dimes, its mission and how it helps the cause.
So Corey, as you were saying, the March of Dimes is really focused on ending preventable premature birth, preventable maternal death and morbidity, increasing health equity. And how the March of Dimes does this is they fund research towards solutions that ensure every baby is born healthy. And they advocate for federal and state policies. They prioritize the health of moms and babies, and that's really what's most important to them. They also provide medical professionals with education on known solutions that will help improve the care of moms and babies. And they unite the local communities across the nation with events and collaboratives. And that's really where we get involved with those events. And we partner with the March of Dimes, as they do with other organizations and companies, to really help moms and their families.
Now, Suzanne, I've read that you have something called the March for Babies, and that's traditionally the March of Dimes' biggest fundraiser. In 2021, we assume that the Long Island campaign will once again be virtual due to the pandemic and social distancing. How can other companies and organizations and individuals support this cause during this time?
That's a great question, because I think a lot of people want to support the March of Dimes, the March for Babies, which is their biggest fundraiser, but don't know how to do it during this time, and how can you do it virtually? And I have to say, our employees have really stepped up and have been creative in how they can support the March for Babies walk when you can't actually go out and do the walk. Some fundraising ideas and some success stories that have come out of our teams. One of our team captains donated a portion of the money he's not spending on gas and dry cleaning and coffee by working from home. And he encouraged his team members to do the same. And he knew that there were many people out of work at this time, and this option may not work for everyone. But if it does work for you, it's really great what ideas you can come up with when you're working from home, very casual and comfy in sweatpants. And we had another team captain who took cloth and made facial masks and donated them through Joann's fabric stores into local medical facilities. So they raised money for that and donated it to the March of Dimes as well. And then we even had an employee who ran virtual games. They played Dungeons and Dragons and outdoor socially distanced bingo nights and just various step challenges, all virtually, and all with the intent of raising money. And as a result, to date, our employees, coupled with corporate sponsorship and matching employee donations, from our PSEG Foundation. We've raised almost $48,000, including matching funds for the March for Babies. So being creative is really important.
We had a guest a few weeks ago. His motto was, and of course he's taken it from a great writer, but never waste a good crisis. And it sounds like that's what some of your members and your employees and volunteers are doing. And it shows what great ideas people have. Sometimes we don't tap a resource enough, but already you've come up with some excellent ideas. And I'm thinking that maybe PSEG wants to run a contest for some businesses, whether it's a law firm, an accounting firm, architectures, dental offices, etc., and maybe get even more people involved, because we all like games and we're looking for something to kind of take our mind off it and also help others. I think what you're doing is great, and it also helps the community for most of us to jump in with you. So look for our applications in the mail.
But I agree. It's such an easy decision to support the March of Dimes, and many of our employees, as well as our customers, benefited from the great work of the March of Dimes. So it's one of the things I love about our employees is they're always willing to get involved and help the community. And that's really one of the biggest things to remember. Our employees are Long Islanders as well, and we benefit from all of these programs and organizations too, and we really want to help continue that, and that's really important.
Well, again, we appreciate it, and speaking on behalf of everyone, I'm sure anyone listening and all members of the Long Island community want to thank you for all you're doing, and for every business that gets out there, whether it's a few pennies or multi-million dollars, you're helping the cause and moving that ball forward. Corey?
How is March of Dimes supporting moms and babies during the pandemic? And tell us, how did March of Dimes pivot itself and adjust its operation due to the pandemic?
That's a great question, Corey. I think everybody has had to learn how to be flexible and to pivot. I think that's one of our words we keep hearing all the time. How do we pivot? But one of the things they did is they provided virtual support for NICU parents with NICU family support, because even more so now, moms need more support. So having that support virtually was really a big benefit. They've also provided COVID updates for moms and families with a My NICU Baby app. So that gives some comfort to moms if they have questions about COVID as well. They had some Facebook Live events with maternal and child health experts. And you could visit the March of Dimes Facebook page to look at past topics and links if you're interested. And in preparation for pregnancy at home with supportive pregnancy virtual groups, and mom and baby COVID intervention in the support fund. So a lot of the support went virtual and digital. And that's important to continuously look for ways to still provide that same information that moms need and that support they're looking for as well, no matter what the situation.
Suzanne, I know on Long Island, some of our greatest resources are our young people. The different levels of school, they get out there not only with ideas, but just burning up the shoe leather and helping out and raising money and getting involved in projects. I know you have something in the schools called the Wonder Walk, and it's in honor of Premature Awareness Month. Can you tell us what that's all about?
I would love to. November, as many are aware, is Prematurity Awareness Month. So in honor of that, the March of Dimes has many schools participating in what you had mentioned, the Wonder Walk. And traditionally, it's an in-person group walk around the school grounds. And obviously this year, the March of Dimes is encouraging students to participate virtually and raise money contactlessly in the comfort of their own homes. Some schools have decided to hold multiple small, socially distant walks, while others are doing March of Dimes themed poster contests or holding a Purple Day on November 17th in honor of World Prematurity Day. Any child who raises $25 qualifies for a free virtual cooking class. So I think it's fantastic to get the children involved as well with these great efforts and to educate them on all the good they can do in their communities as well.
I'll already be a volunteer if they're getting a cooking class and they want someone to be a taster. I think Corey will do the same thing because we're known as eaters around here and, put our name in. Now, let me ask you, someone hearing this and saying, gee, that's a great idea. I'd like some of the students to participate or my family. Who do they get in touch with? Is there a website? Is there a phone number? How would they find out more?
They can always go to the March of Dimes website, or they could Also look on the March of Dimes Facebook page if they are a part of the Facebook community, and they can get information that way.
And should they go to PSEG LI or strictly March of Dimes to get the information?
I would recommend they would go to the March of Dimes for this information.
Okay, fair enough.
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're learning about the March of Dimes, an organization that focuses on ending preventable premature birth, preventable maternal death and morbidity, and increasing health equity for mom and baby. And we are talking to one of their volunteers in a local utility that is a big supporter of the March of Dimes. Our guest is Suzanne Brienza, the Director of Customer Experience and Utility Marketing for PSEG Long Island. I've been hearing about the hashtag blanket change effort. What is it, and how does this clever name come about?
So in 2020, the United States is still among the most dangerous developed nations for a woman to give birth, unfortunately. And it's even more dire for moms and babies of color. It's a health crisis that has only intensified with COVID-19 pandemic. And that's why the March of Dimes is calling for partners to support the hashtag blanket change agenda. And they're calling on candidates, policymakers, and community leaders to demand blanket change and improve the health of all moms and babies. March of Dimes is continuing to use the iconic hospital receiving blanket that most parents are familiar with to extend the successful national awareness movement called hashtag blanket change. And they're asking America's partners to join in taking a stand on behalf of all moms and babies. So organizations can sign up to support the hashtag blanket change agenda and add their organizations to the list of supporters on blanketchange.org. And you can also use the hashtag blanket change in your social media posts to boost awareness. So this is a fantastic effort to really help all moms and babies in the United States.
Suzanne, let's talk about PSEG LI and their connection to the March of Dimes. First of all, why does PSEG LI get involved with the March of Dimes, and what is their connection to it?
When PSEG Long Island was formed in 2014 to provide electric service to Long Island and the Rockaways, we were also committed to the community. And it's something that every employee is dedicated to, giving back to those communities, not only that we serve, but we live in them as well. And we were committed to supporting the March of Dimes as well. Many of our employees have benefited from the March of Dimes, and it was a very easy choice for us to continue to support them. This will be our 7th year. Every year we've been the top fundraiser at the Long Island March for Babies, and this is really thanks to our employees who've raised funds on their own through various fundraising events and securing donations from their family and friends. And we supplement those donations through our match program, our corporate charitable foundation, the PSEG Foundation. So this year, we did raise $48,000. Since 2014, our employees and the company's matching gifts has raised more than $595,000 from March of Dimes. So it continues to be one of the organizations that we work with every year, and it's something that our employees are dedicated to giving back to every day.
And I think that's a great example for the Long Island community and for any business to realize you can get involved with the community. You can help, even if it's in a small way, take part in what PSEG Long Island is doing, or get going on your own on some charity and help out your neighbors. It's going to come back and enrich you in one way or another. So again, on behalf of all Long Islanders, thank you so much. And thanks to the people at PSEG LI for all you're doing.
How long has PSEG Long Island supported March of Dimes?
We've supported them since 2014 when we first came into existence. I remember the first big show of force of event was our first March of Dimes event. It was at Eisenhower Park at the time. And we were a small sea of orange shirts, which is one of our company colors. And it was so rewarding to see all of our employees coming together to support a great organization. So since our inception in 2014, PSEG Long Island has supported the March of Dimes.
Now, Suzanne, obviously the pandemic has been in the news every day and everything that we're all talking about. But directly, one-on-one, how has this affected your fundraising efforts and what you're doing for the March of Dimes?
So it's unfortunate that many of the charities that we support have had to cancel their large-scale in-person fundraising events, which such as the walks that we go to, but they still need our support. So it really put us in a position of thinking outside of the box. Normally, we did a lot of our fundraising through bake sales, pizza lunches, bagel Wednesdays in our offices. And now with a large portion of our workforce working remotely from home, we've had to think of other ways that we could continue our fundraising efforts while still being safe and working virtually. And our team captains still form their teams, and their members work together to find creative ways to raise money online during these difficult times. And they would continue to hold their weekly calls, share progress, exchange fundraising ideas, and connect with other coworkers. So that was a real benefit to still have that team feeling, even though we were remote. And though our efforts were a little bit less than we normally raise each year, but we were still able to raise almost $48,000 plus matching funds. And we came up with some really great creative fundraising ideas and success stories.
Did any, I'm just wondering, I would think between volunteers and employees, did anybody or maybe several come up with really outstanding ideas that you say, gee, that's something we're going to keep now as a part of our yearly fundraising efforts? Sometimes things come about because of the pandemic, but they're long lasting and they have a terrific effect. It kind of stimulates us to get thinking. Any new ideas you can tell us about?
Yeah, I think, I think some of the virtual online games were very successful. I think people found camaraderie around that. And it was fun to do on your off hours and relieve some stress. So I think that would continue. Some of the virtual fundraising will continue. And I love the idea that one of our team captains made cloth facial masks and donated them. And I think that in the future, there are other things that she could do and make and support the causes as well. So, I think that we're going to continue to do a lot of these things in the future as well.
I understand that PSEG Long Island is involved in the community in many other ways. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. One of our core commitments is to give back to the community on Long Island and the Rockaways. So obviously our top priority is always to provide safe and reliable power for our customers. But we also know that there are causes and issues that they care about, whether it's the environment or the March of Dimes or other organizations. So our employees are often looking for ways that they can support these local charities. Last year alone, our employees logged over 30,000 hours of community service and participated in over 1,000 fundraising and community events. And they're really driven by our employees who are dedicated to helping people. Our employees are really remarkable in what they come up with and want to do in the communities. We've partnered with more than 400 charities and local organizations, such as Island Harvest, the American Cancer Society, Ronald McDonald House, United Way, Habitat for Humanity, a lot of environmental and wildlife causes. Maybe you've seen some of our stanchions for the birds. We do a lot with the osprey, and we do a number of veteran-related causes. We not only celebrated Veterans Day, but we did an entire Veterans Week where we supported different veteran causes as well. So there's so much that we do throughout the year, and every event is different. It could be a walk, it could be a food packing and distribution, house builds, renovation projects, cleanup activities, helping children in schools. There's just so many things that we do. But unfortunately, during the pandemic, we've not been able to go into the communities like we usually do. So we've really had to rethink the way we support our communities with other ideas as well, still supporting these same causes.
You are listening to My Hometown on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're learning about the March of Dimes, an organization that focuses on ending preventable premature birth, preventable maternal death and morbidity, and increasing health equity for mom and baby. And we are talking to one of their volunteers and a local utility that is a big supporter of the March of Dimes. Our guest is Suzanne Brienza. the Director of Customer Experience and Utility Marketing for PSEG Long Island.
Now, Suzanne, if I heard you correctly, I just want to repeat something because those numbers were, to me, astounding. Your organization put in over something like 30,000 hours. Did I hear that?
That's correct. They logged 30,588 hours of community service.
Did you say there were over 1,000 events that members of PSEG Long Island took part in?
That's correct. 1,047 fundraising and community events.
I think that's really awesome. And that actually, I'm using that as a lead in because not only is it awesome, but someone hearing this, I think a lot of us being at home now, we need something to take our mind off, and nothing really feels better than helping someone, whether you do half an hour of work in the neighborhood collecting something or spending a day together or virtually contacting some friends. So tell us how someone listening can become a volunteer for the March of Dimes, how they can get involved, and maybe some opportunities that people might not even realize, like you said, someone making masks, someone who just has a skill of sewing. That in itself is extremely valuable today. So can you educate us on some of the ways that volunteers can help out?
So absolutely. There's so many different ways you could fundraise for the March of Dimes. You might want to do a virtual walk. I know of a local school that set up its own virtual March of Dimes stroll. You could do something like that in your neighborhood. I know that we had employees do that in their neighborhood as well. You can encourage the teachers to set up this virtual stroll. You could certainly do any kind of crafting, like you had indicated, knitting of blankets, so many different things you could do. A donation of a portion of your money that you used for your commute to work, or perhaps your cup of coffee that you were buying every day. I think if you just start thinking outside of the box and be a little creative, you can absolutely find ways to raise some money and support a wonderful organization like the March of Dimes.
I love that way that you're saying, like, what someone is saving, whether it's if you drove into the city parking, you could probably get a hotel room for that, what they charge you for parking in the city. Or, as you said, if you're not buying lunch out because you're staying at home, etc. Even if you just pick one day a week, Tuesday's lunch, Thursday's lunch, etc. There's so many fun ways that you could just put something aside. It would be painless. And help out the charity, help out PSEG Long Island, and doing the great work with the March of Dimes. And, perhaps they send you the idea, Suzanne, and, you take it from there and develop it further.
Please tell us how people can get in touch with you for more information about the March of Dimes or PSEG Long Island.
You could visit PSEG Long Island's website, which is www.psegLINY.com. And you can look at our community page and look at events that are ongoing and how you can get involved as well. And also, please visit the website for the March of Dimes as well as their Facebook page.
Suzanne, take us behind the scenes a little bit with what you do. I always like to go I call it going behind the curtain, but someone's job, we see an image on television, it looks good, everything always looks nice, and they're having lunch at a country club, etc. But I'm sure your day is packed, and by the end of it, it's kind of like, oh, thank God I can sit down for 5 minutes. Can you take us through your day and some of the things we would not know about a person in your position?
So I am, as you said, the Director of Customer Experience and Utility Marketing. So my team is really focused on how do we have the best experience for our customers, whether it's providing reliable, safe electric, whether it's looking at different types of messaging to get out to customers, putting together different programs like this. Our community program partnership is what we pride ourselves on, and getting involved in the community. But more than that, we look at, how can we support our customers during COVID? We look at different economic development programs and other ways we can support businesses at this time. So there's so many things that we do to support the customers. And that's really what we talk a lot about with my group. But more than that, I'm also a mom of 3, so I'm always on the run personally as well. But it's exciting what I get to do, and just like all our employees, I am here to serve the customer to the best we can. So
let me point out, as I'm hearing it, to our audience, not only do you do the volunteer work for the March of Dimes through PSEG, your work is a full-time job separate from that. This is not a position within PSEG. You're doing this in addition to a full-time job. Is that right?
Absolutely.
What's your secret? Come on, we all want to know that now.
If I knew the secret, I'd be very wealthy.
It's not one of those energy drinks or muscle milk or what's it called?
Yeah, caffeine, coffee.
Caffeine, okay. I think that's fair enough for all of us. Corey?
If this was a normal year and someone had never went to the March of Dimes walk, which is in Eisenhower Park, what is the atmosphere like so people can dream of better times and hope we can get back to that one day?
So what I love is Eisenhower Park is where they used to have the March of Dimes March for Babies walk. It's grown so much that they now have it at Jones Beach. And it's just a really great community feel. You have individuals and organizations there supporting the March of Dimes, March for Babies. You'll see tents set up. You'll have companies providing information and different types of swag for them. And you see babies, you see children who are healthy and here today because of what the March of Dimes does. And it's a wonderful feeling to see that what we're doing to support this organization is paying off with healthy children. And it's just, personally, I know so many people within our company who have benefited from the March of Dimes, and to see their children grown now, it's a real great feeling. And I can't recommend it enough to go down, get out in that fresh air down by Jones Beach and just be part of a wonderful day.
Suzanne, is there one, before we wrap up, one heartwarming story, let's call it, that comes to mind when you think of what you do and maybe when you're having a bad day, get you through because your work as a volunteer is helping so much?
So we have an employee who was our first ambassador family in 2014, and her son was premature, and he did benefit from a number of the March of Dimes benefits. And now I love seeing him in school, having fun, making friends, playing sports. Now he's 7 years old or 6 years old, and to see that big smile on his face, it's heartwarming to know what he's gone through and to see him now. It's just fantastic. And I can't say anything more about it. It's just that smile is everything.
And I think that's what we all need, something like that smile, especially to keep us going during these tough times and know how worthwhile the work is. And again, many thanks to you and to the people at PSEG LI and the March of Dimes for all that you do. I'd like our audience to know that we've been speaking with Suzanne Brienza. She's the Director of Customer Experience and Utility Marketing for PSEG Long Island and a volunteer with the community partner with the March of Dimes. Suzanne, good luck to you, and please keep up the wonderful good work you're doing with the March of Dimes.
Thank you so much.
I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Corey Kaufman. We thank you for listening to this week's special edition of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.